Actually, great segue, because speaking of unexpected things that kind of dropped this past week or a couple days ago,
Bro,
we got an official trailer. We got the teaser trailer during the Super Bowl. Speaking of NFL, Deadpool and Wolverine. We got the official trailer 3 days ago, and it broke some really interesting MCU records. Deadpool and Wolverine has broken some interesting Marvel Cinematic Universe and non-MCU records with the latest trailer. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are back as co-leads of the impressive Deadpool and Wolverine cast, which will see prior Marvel franchise actors return and new stars come in. Deadpool and Wolverine's first trailer broke a major record, becoming the most watched trailer within 24 hours.
wow.
And the film's new trailer has broken a different kind of record. As appointed by Lat Bible, Deadpool and Wolverine's new trailer broke the record for most swear words in a Marvel trailer and featured the most F-bombs than the entire MCU combined, including cutoff lines such as in Spider-Man Homecoming ending. The previous record for swear words in Marvel trailers was also held by Ryan's Merc with the Mouth, shared between the first Deadpool 2 trailer and Deadpool's Red Band trailer. The only real F-bomb in the MCU came from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Deadpool and Wolverine's new trailer comes out on top of the MCU with 6 F-bombs, of course.
My gosh.
Being the first appearance of Jackman and as Wolverine's since 2017's Logan, using the multiverse heavily and bringing Reynolds' Deadpool into the MCU, Deadpool and Wolverine has a real shot at breaking $1 billion. The movie would be the first MCU project to do since 2021 Spider-Man No Way Home, nearly grossing $2 billion. Deadpool and Wolverine has a real chance of becoming the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, with the MCU film needing to surpass Joker's 1.078 billion mark to break that record.
We'll talk about it.
We'll see about that. But we have a lot to talk about. This is probably going to take a while. I want to break down this trailer. I want to get all the thoughts on a trailer. You can check out myself and James's reaction over on our YouTube channel, James E Reacts and Friggin Nerds Media. It's insanity. So I don't know where to start. I guess we'll start with you, James. What are you feeling about this trailer?
Yeah, I'm behind.
What we got?
Okay. Draft alert before we get into Deadpool. The Bears, who had the number 1 overall pick, who took Caleb Williams, quarterback out of USC. Everybody knew he was going. To pair up with Caleb Williams, they got Rome Odunze from Washington, high-profile wide receiver, as their 9th pick.
Ooh.
The Bears are eating right now. Those are 2 high-level, great picks off the jump from the Bears. And so he was considered the receiver out of LSU, and of course Harrison Jr. were the top 3 receivers, and all 3 are gone right now. And we're only at the 9th pick in the 32 pick draft right now. So yeah, huge. Bears looking gravy right now. Rainyard was good. But Deadpool, I will say, just initial thoughts from the trailer, they're really showing that hard R that they're like, hey, this is reinforcing that, hey, all the things you loved about Deadpool are still there, even though it's under the Disney banner. And so even the joke at the end about the nicknames for what you would call the white substance that is illegal, they talked about that, how Feige has a list of all the nicknames.
Name drop Feige. I love it.
Yeah. So the hard R is the thing that stuck out first and foremost with all the curse words. Second was, look at Logan and his character, or this Wolverine at least, played by Hugh Jackman's, I guess past having failed his world or universe somewhat. We'll get more into that. That's something I was not expecting. We got to look at sleeveless Wolverine, which was cool. And there's a lot of Easter eggs and stuff. But yeah, my big two was just the cursing with the hard R, but also the interesting look at the backstory and why Wolverine is the way he is, and how Deadpool might recruit him to help with his mission somewhat. So those are the big two for me. What about you?
I think some of the big things I took away from it was, so the first trailer was all about Deadpool. It was all about where he's at, where he's going, what he's trying to do, without like really telling us exactly what he's going to do. But this one is all about Wolverine. I was like, I didn't think we were going to see all that. So I really, what my big takeaway is, this isn't Deadpool 3, in my opinion. This is a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I just think it's a separate thing. It's like, you know, because you can say that Civil War was a Captain America movie, but it's not really. It just
felt like an Avengers 2.5.
Yeah, it's like a separate thing where like you're dealing with these two characters. So it really gives me that vibe. I am so excited. I mentioned it a little bit in my video. Big Old Man Logan vibes. If anyone, if you've not read, speaking of comic book day, if you can find yourself a copy of all of Old Man Logan, pick that up and read it. Because I think you're going to want to read it to kind of almost get ready for this. It's not following the old man's story, but it's giving you a lot of Easter eggs like that. Old Man Logan,
especially
had
with
a lot
Wolverine's background. Yep.
Yeah, with all that stuff of, you know, just Ant-Man's corpse was my favorite like image in that whole thing, because that happens in the book. They don't live in his head, but like they pass by him at one point. But I like that aspect of just like you're seeing equipment from like fallen heroes. Like Hawkeye in that book drives around in Spider-Man's Spider-Mobile, like the buggy, you know what I mean? And like there's the hillbilly Hulk family, and they drive around in the Fantastic Four's like jet and stuff. It's like insane. So I total Old Man Logan vibes, which I thought we were gonna get in Logan, which I mean Logan was a masterpiece. But like I think we're going somewhere a little different, and I am very pleased that this is not Logan from Logan. They established that. They're like, just so you know, this Logan failed his world, but like, you know, we knew he kind of failed his world because there's a whole thing of like the X-Men died because of the whole thing with Professor X and all that. So we could say it's that, but I like that it's just a different one. I mean, in my opinion, when we saw that little shot of him, we'll talk about Easter eggs and stuff later, but like you see him in the white shirt on his knees and all the rocks are there. Right away,
like gravestones.
Right away, I said, you know where that is? Genosha. That's Genosha.
You think so?
That's gotta be. It's gotta be because they're starting to like slight spoilers for X-Men 97. They're kind of leaning towards that storyline in X-Men 97, where they are going back to Genosha and seeing life there. Everyone's alive, everything's fine, but they are showing people what Genosha is in X-Men 97. I think that's kind of a thing. Like I feel like Marvel does that, where they'll show something in a TV show and get you acquainted with it, and then and then put it on. Example, it's Star Wars, but example I give is right before Rise of Skywalker came out, which I know we don't talk about Rise of Skywalker. There was an episode of Mandalorian that came out a week before it came out. And Baby Yoda force healed somebody, and then we see it in the movie, and we see. So it's like I feel like so people are watching like, oh, I remember Baby Yoda did that last week of Mandalorian. So I feel like they like to show people things and like kind of teach them.
Yeah,
it's kind of like how they taught us how the multiverse works in Spider-Man, and then we went back home, and then we saw the other multiversal thing happen with What If and everything. So I think they're trying to educate people who don't know about Genosha with that, and I think that makes the most sense. I'm like, you know, failing. I mean, and what's her name that we have as the villain?
Cassandra Nova.
Genova, she's the one who messed up Genosha. She killed over 6 billion mutants. So I think that's what it is. I think that's the whole story. Is like they're going to go after her. She must be the issue. She's probably going to different worlds and like destroying them or something. Who knows? But that's the only thing that makes it. When I see that character with Logan and they're telling me that there's failure and I'm seeing those big pot like rock formations, I'm like, that's gotta be gravestones. I hope I see Cyclops on one of them, Scott Summers, and then that's what I think it is, man. I think the X-Men fans are really eating this year because I think we're really getting a lot of stuff. But let's get to some like wacky like theories, man. I want to talk about all the theories. Like what are the I've watched this trailer like 1 million times already, just trying to break down everything. What are some of your big takeaways and like what do you think is going to happen here?
I mean, going off of what you was talking about regarding like Genosha and what has happened in the comics already, and where she made her appearance was with for Extinction, and when she wiped out all those mutants, and how kind of X-Men 97 is touching on that. I don't know if she was responsible for Wolverine's universe, maybe, because she seems to be on the outskirts. Because my thing is, Deadpool is trying to save his world. So my first question is, what's threatening his world? Is it incursions? Is it Cassandra Nova? Is it something else? I've heard people talk about how this anchor theory with individuals from certain universes being the anchor for that said universe, and if they're taken out, that universe would implode. It's what we've seen in the comic books from Jonathan Hickman's run on the Avengers and New Avengers leading up to Secret Wars, where you took my boy Molecule Man, and he's placed in each universe, and if he's killed, that universe, the entire universe is destroyed. He was set there by the Beyonders. So I've heard those 3 theories in regards to just like why Deadpool's world is like in trouble and why he's out there trying to recruit. So I like the anchor theory just because I'm a fan of Molecule Man and Jonathan Hickman's run with the Avengers and New Avengers. And the thing that kind of goes against it is Deadpool slicing up the TVA. So I think the TVA might be threatening Deadpool's world. Because he went in Deadpool 2, he was going off and he was setting different timelines when he was killing off like his original Deadpool from Wolverine Origins. And even when he went and killed himself from the Green Lantern script, right? So if we're going off, they're part of all of that is part of the MCU, those are branched timelines. And maybe because of what he did, now there's a new timeline. The TVA is like, yo, we got to get rid of it. But first, we're going to use you to help us recruit somebody else. So I think the TVA might be the big bad guy more so than Cassandra Nova. That's my big theory, to be honest. After sharing all the theories I've heard, I think the TVA is going to be the big bad guys, and they need help stopping Cassandra Nova. But they're going to prune Deadpool's timeline at the end and kind of like betray him and stuff like that because they don't need him, and maybe plop him in a different timeline, thus Secret Wars. And so that's what I think. And maybe at the end, that's how he gets to Earth 616 universe.
Yeah, my weird thing about TVA. So I understand they recasted him. Obviously, they probably couldn't get Owen Wilson or whatever, but I have a theory that that's not the real TVA. That they're like maybe they're not, because like I thought that was one thing that really struck me too. I'm like, is he killing TVA members? I'm like, why is he like slicing these guys up? And it looks like it's in the people are saying that looks like the beginning of Age of Ultron, like that set. So maybe he's over there.
Yeah. The snow and stuff. Yep.
But like, I'm like, I wonder if the TVA, if that's not the real TVA or something, because
it doesn't feel like the one from Loki season 2 at all.
Which again, like I said, like maybe they're not going to get the budget of getting, you know, Owen Wilson, whoever else. I forget the dude who's playing the main guy there with the broken nose. I forgot his name.
Yeah,
but
from Insurrex. That Apple TV show.
Yeah. So like, yeah, like that's a thing. I mean, they looked like they like the TVA looked like.
It looked brighter.
Yeah, like and they didn't have like the face masks. They look threatening. Those guys look threatening. Those TVA members.
It might be a different department.
I don't know. Like, is there like a heavy metal department that like is just like killing people?
I don't know.
Like because they everyone in the TVA and Loki looked like they were from like, you know, Spaceballs. You know what I mean? Like they had like the big helmets, and these guys look like tough dudes. Like so, I'm like I think it's fake. It might be a fake TVA.
That's the question, because even Dustin's bringing it up. Like, didn't Loki near the end advance 300 years? So that's the question I was going to ask. Is this the current TVA with Loki? Spoiler alerts for Loki season 2, sitting at the throne holding the sacred timeline, or is this before that?
Oh.
Is all this before that? Because my thing is, they're in the void or whatever it's called, where Goliath is. That's where they're at when you see like the 20th Century Fox logo just in the ground, and where we see all the cameos that we're going to talk about. They're in the void because Goliath is there. So this is like between everything. This is the world between everything, which kind of looks like Battle World. I just got to say, it kind of looks like Battle World. And it looks like where everybody might end up being when Secret Wars starts after the collapse of the multiverse. But neither here or there. But it gets weird with the timeline. So like, when is this happening? Not so much where is this happening? That's my big question, because the MCU has like just convoluted everything.
Yeah,
because you have like this separate timeline, that the branch timelines that come off from the sacred timeline, but that's just a timeline. Those aren't branch universes. So, okay, those are sacred timelines those are branch timelines within that specific universe. Is it the same thing? Is it different? Like, how do they? I don't know. But I think my big head theory, like big brain theory, is I think that's where they're at right now. I think that's where we're going to end up. I think they're going to be left there, and they're going to be waiting for what's going to happen with Secret Wars. I think they're going to be stuck there. I don't think Deadpool makes it back. I don't think Wolverine makes it back. And they're going to be stuck there. And then these other heroes are going to end up making it there thanks to the TVA or whatever. And everybody's going to meet each other there.
That's got to be the end scene.
I think that's how it's going to end. I think that's how it's going to end. But they're going to kill some of the people already there, like some of the Fox characters who might be working for Cassandra Mason from Hogwarts Legacy, Cassandra Nova, who we saw Azazel, we saw Toad, we saw Lady Deathstrike. You know, we saw all these characters from the old X-Men movies. I think Wolverine and Deadpool are going to go through them. Pyro, I think they're going to kill all of them. I think they're going to kill all of them.
Yeah.
And Cassandra Mason, because they look to be working for her. And then it's just like them and maybe a couple of other people. And then the movie ends. And they're like left there. They did what they were supposed to do somehow, some way. But the incursion still happened. And now it's over. It's ending. And now they're going to be left waiting for these other characters to come that they don't know is coming. And I think that's what's going to lead to Secret Wars.
I really like to believe that this is happening like during or right before the events of Loki 2, because I really do feel like that last scene in Loki of him on the throne and all that really feels like a big, like, period, like end of the chapter kind of moment, where like that's a kind of a big like reset, or like, with all the kind of glitching that kind of happened of him like holding that together, what were happening to the universes during that. Like it's got to be like ripping a USB out of a computer and like putting it back in, you know what I mean?
Right.
So while that's happening, are they just getting shot into like this battle world while this is happening, and like that was Kang's big plan and that's how they get him there?
Okay, so in the comic books, the incursions happen because of the Beyonders. So there's a rumor about the Kang. I think this might be what Stargazer Tim is alluding to. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a rumor that one of the Kang variants is actually the Beyonder.
Ooh.
One of the Beyonders. And this is like Prime or Ultimate King, who, if you read the comic books, one of the Beyonders is the one who's helping running Secret Wars, and obviously Doom is as well and stuff like that at the end. But with the timelines, that's where it gets confusing, because the Secret Wars happens because of the multiverses collapsing. And it's the end of the multiverse. But what Loki is doing is holding timelines, and they're not the same. Timelines in multiverses are not the same. So they have to fix, unless those branches are universes, which I got to rewatch Loki season 2 now. Unless those branches are universes, they have some explaining to do. If those branches if those branches aren't universes and timelines, they have some explaining to do. If they are universes, it can get interesting, because now Loki is noticing the stuff he's holding is disappearing. And if they're universes, there's no other universes left. And so he might be like, yo, what is happening? And he's going to go, because he's just holding it together. So now he's going to get this thing. The TVA is like, bro, what's going on? We need to fix this. And so he starts recruiting people who he knows, his brother Thor from Earth 616, or Captain America, Iron Man. Well, he's not there anymore, but other people and X-Men from the other universes.
Get a new Iron Man.
Yeah, because Kang is still out there.
Played by somebody else, of course.
Played by somebody else, yeah. But Kang is still out there.
Yeah.
So Kang is the one who's still like messing with the timelines. I don't know how they're going to put this together. I don't. I have an idea of what I would do, but I don't know how they're going to do this, and how, like, I just pitched how I think Deadpool and Wolverine fits in the grand scheme of things, but I don't know how they're going to pull all this together. I don't know. And I don't know how I'm going to care about what's happening in Captain America: A New World when I know incursions are happening. I don't know how I'm going to care about Thunderbolts when incursions are happening. I don't know how I'm going to care about I'm going to care about the Fantastic Four, because they seem to be from another universe and not from the Earth 616
and back in the day, so we don't have to worry about it.
Well, I think their universe is just old school, like 1950s, 60s style, and that's just how everything looks.
Oh, kind of like
they're from a different universe,
kind of like Fallout, where it's like it's like 60s, but there's like futuristic technology.
Yes, exactly.
I like that.
The aesthetic is still from the 1950s and 60s and stuff. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you got what do you call it? The robot. What's the robot's name?
Oh yeah.
What's his name? He's a funny name.
Yeah. I forgot his name. I know who you're talking about. Oh shoot! Hold on.
Draft update. What we got?
What?
Ooh.
Well, the Broncos with the Broncos suck. The Broncos with the 12th pick just took Bo Nix, quarterback out of Oregon, after they just signed Zach Wilson from the Jets.
What?
Who did the Jets draft? Jets draft, chat? Wow. Because they don't have a second round pick, by the way.
Goodness.
Yes, we're going to get Tom Cruise Iron Man. I'm calling it, Dustin. Yes.
Only if he's superior Iron Man.
Oh yeah.
I want him in a white suit and you can see his face.
Okay, they got an offensive tackle. The Jets got an offensive tackle. They had the pick before the Broncos, the 11th pick, which makes sense because you don't want Aaron Rodgers tearing his tendons again on this first play. Oh my gosh!
Gracious.
But what about you? I'm going to be confused.
Herbie, thank you, Ethan. Herbie was the name of the robot. So yeah, if they have Herbie, they have some cool technology in that world.
I was going to say Kirby, but I was like, no, Kirby. That's not right.
So what's the question? What do you think? What do I think the story's going to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. Yeah, because again, they did tell us that this was going to be the movie that led into Secret Wars.
Yeah,
and now that I'm seeing what they're setting up here and the where they could go with this, they could go anywhere. But I like that idea of like the end is just like Deadpool and Wolverine like land somewhere and they look over and Tobey Maguire's across the way and then Iron Man shows up and Captain America and then like everyone's like
all these
every
coming in
Ben Affleck is Daredevil, like this ridiculous stuff, and I think they're all going to like kind of look at each other like what's going on. Credits.
Yep.
And then like don't even give me after credit scene, just give me credits.
No, I don't even think we'll see all that. Would be dope. I'm calling it now, chat. I think they resolved whatever they needed to resolve in this movie, and they end with Wolverine and Deadpool just like sitting down in dirt, just looking out to nothing on wherever they're at with where Eliath is. And they're like, what now? How are we going to get back? Or they're just like breathing. And then it just cut. And you just see the small words, Deadpool and Wolverine will return in Secret Wars. And that's it.
Oh, you know what I wonder?
That's it.
Because so we all know, James, how these trailers are manipulated and like different characters aren't there. I believe maybe, just maybe, that last scene of them doing the really slow motion run into the Doctor Strange portal is them jumping into Battle World. I think that's the last shot.
I don't think so.
And I think we see it. And we see a battle happening, and we see like possibly Spider-Man, Iron Man, all these things, and it cuts because I think whatever in reality they're probably they're getting away from Eliath because you see in the background Eliath's coming in hot, so they're getting out with. I don't know if they found like one of the little portal rings somewhere and like Deadpool's fucking with it, or Wong
or
is
somebody
there,
else is opening it from the other side,
or like Ned or something but I want to see, but they have that if they're jumping through portals and stuff, I don't know. I think it's going to end and just in some way it's going to like I think I agree with you, like set up Secret Wars, but like I think we need to get, like I'm sure we're going to get some crazy cameos.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also, the corgis are celebrating right now. Raiders.
Oh no, Raider Nation
took their 13th pick and got Brock Bowers out of Georgia, the dynamic tight end who can be a receiver, tight end, everything. Just think of Travis Kelce. That's who Brock Bowers is.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
That's a great pick for them. That's a
good one. Great.
That's a great pick for them. I think that was the best player left on the board too. So
That's the GG kill the draft type for me. Oh, couple pick short for the Colts. Oh man.
New Orleans Saints are up next.
Oh, my backup team. Let's see how they're doing.
But so you think we're going to see? Because I know we're going to see Fox cameos, which we'll talk about. But you think we're going to see MCU cameos as well?
I mean, we got Ant-Man, his corpse in the body. I think that was showing us that like we will see some people there. I think you gotta, because I mean,
what do you think that's from?
What, the Ant-Man one?
Yeah, where do you think that? Where did that come from?
I wonder if that's like the remnants of like a world where Secret Wars already happened. Because I forget what they say the battle was in Old Man Logan, because they talk about it, because they called they named the valley after after Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And there's like they talk about it's like the battle of this and blah 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 blah. So I mean, it's got to be from a bet, because I was like, dope that you saw the helmet, but when you look closer, you see that like she's in the skull. So I was wondering that too with Cassandra in there. My head went to Godzilla versus Kong. Do you remember when they had the guy that was in the skull of Gojira? No, it was Gojira's skull, and that's what controlled Mechagodzilla. Spoilers for Godzilla versus Kong. So I wonder if that's like her, she's able to channel stuff using like Scott Lang's like cerebellum somehow as like a sort of cerebro
like thing,
you know? Because like I'm like, why is this like powerful like person living in Ant-Man's skull? I'm like, it's got to be a like, that's like her cerebro. I think that's what it is.
Well, there's nothing.
Ghidorah, thank you, Tim.
But there's nothing there anyway.
Yeah,
in those places. So like you got a half buried 20th Century Fox logo in there with ships also half buried, and so the Ant-Man's head or Giant Man's head, that's probably the biggest thing they could use as A, just shelter, but B, as a base for whatever she's doing there. So I get it. Yo, that would be crazy cool to see it used as a cerebral like type location type tool, especially inside of a brain. It's kind of meta in a way. You know, you're using someone's head or skull to power up your telepathy in a way.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's kind of meta in a way. Now, I have a big brain theory. I think that version, that giant size Ant-Man, is from Quantum Mania.
Ooh.
When they get spaghettified and stuff, they're like all like being ripped and stuff. Because you know what happens when the TVA like prunes them? They get sent to that place. And then Elias takes it. So I think all of these people were pruned. I think all of them were pruned. And Giant Man, Ant-Man, was pruned from where he was in Quantum Mania. I think that's the same one, and ended up with his head there.
Oh, that's
my crazy theory right there.
Yeah, I mean, that could make sense too. Because I'm like, yeah, we want to see Secret Wars as it happens. Right. Like we don't want to see that, but it would make sense because, as someone pointed out in one of the breakdown videos I watched, of like, we do see, I think, I forget which movie now. It must have been Loki, but we see the Hornet. Is it the Hornet? From the first Ant-Man movie? We see his helmet enlarged on the ground in one of the shows.
Yes. No,
Which
he's the Wasp.
the
No, he's not
Wasp,
Wasp.
no.
No, that's Janet Van Dyne. I think it's Horn.
Oh,
Yellow Jacket.
Yellow Jacket. Yellow. It was like a bee or something. And we see his head big at some point, but then we see we see what he becomes in Quantumania. But yeah, like that's a good theory. Yeah, like finding like so many things get pruned. We saw all that happening in Quantumania. Cause I feel like we got to find a way to justify that movie somehow. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Because such a cool concept in there, but like just some weird things that happened. Hell, I mean, did that Kang technically get pruned? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's really dead, man. So which leads me to the big question that we have to talk about. What cameos are we getting? Because what we saw in the trailer, and fill in the blanks if I miss any. Azazel from First Class, who is Nightcrawler's father.
Yeah.
Who was the yellow? Just think of Nightcrawler but red if you didn't see First Class. He's a teleporter as well, just like Nightcrawler. Lady Deathstrike from X2, who had the adamantium nails instead of like claws like Logan. Then we saw Toad from X-Men 1. We saw Pyro from all of the original X-Men movies. We saw, I feel like there's one more. There was one on the left side when you see Ant-Man's skull.
Toad,
Deathstrike, as who?
The one with the long fingernails you're talking about?
Deathstrike, Lady Deathstrike.
That's Deathstrike.
Yeah, I feel like there was one more.
I have the picture somewhere. We could look at it.
Azazel.
Let me see. Where's the picture?
And Pyro. Those are 4. I thought there was like 5.
Yeah, Pyro. We actually saw like actual like.
Yeah. In the first teaser.
Let's see. I got the image right here, and we see a better look of that car, which was definitely Red Skull's car.
Yep.
So you're talking about the left. So that's
there's 4 on the left. So the first one is Deathstrike. The short one is Toad. I'm trying to remember who this tall one is in the middle.
With the
short one is Toad, yeah.
With the bald head? The dude with the bald head?
Yeah. Crap, I know who that is. And I can't remember. But anyway, what cameos are we getting?
Let's see. So they are leaning into the Foxverse. I know they are. That's the heaviest one they're going to lean into, I think, just because of the obvious thing of having Wolverine. You got to have more X-Men. So I think we're going to see Cyclops at one point. I think we can see Scott Summers.
James Marsden's Cyclops?
Marsden's on a roll, man. He's making Sonic the Hedgehog money. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's gonna come through and play.
He was wasted at Cyclops. He was such a good one.
Have him come back, but I want to see him in the yellow and blue suit. I want more comic book accurate X-Men suits.
Okay.
So I think we'll see some Cyclops, maybe Jean Grey. I would like to see, like, just for fun, have that X-Men crew come back and play the 90s theme song in the background as they go into a fight.
Who?
Wolverine.
All of them?
Wolverine. They don't have that kind of money.
So who's coming?
All right, ready? From the X-Men alone, Wolverine.
Okay.
Jean Grey, Cyclops. I think you can bring in. Man,
Halle Berry's coming.
If Halle Berry comes back and Storm, however, with the mohawk, that'd be the sickest shit ever.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Let's see, who else could you bring in? I think they said what's his name might come back as Iceman.
Oh yeah. I remember him.
So he might come through, and I think why not? We already saw him in the MCU once. I think they bring in Professor X for a second. Yeah. Or even crazier, Ian McKellen, but he's like Magneto from the 90s cartoon and he has the long hair. I think that'd be bananas to see. Or he has the white Magneto suit. That'd be crazy.
I don't think we're going to see Beast played by Frazier because we saw him at the end of the Marvels.
Oh yeah. We want to take that Beast seriously, so we don't want to be too funny and have him in this movie.
So I don't know if they're going to show him. I think they might save him for later stuff, but that would be cool.
Do you think that X-Men world comes to play at all in this movie?
It has to. We already see three villains from that universe alone.
Yeah, so do you think
with Pyro, Lady Deathstrike, and Toad?
I'm saying the X-Men that we took a peek at the end of the Marvels. Do you think we go there at any point in this movie?
I think there could be a connection between that X-Men and the Wolverine we see in this movie.
Ooh.
Because the suits just seem brighter. What's her name's Monica Rambeau's character suit seemed bright. Beast, Hank McCoy's Beast, everything just seems more vibrant, and they're wearing comic accurate clothing in that universe from the Marvels. And so
yeah, I think there's a version of the X-Men that looked like the 90s cartoon.
Yeah. And I think we saw that at the end of Marvels, and I think Wolverine might fit into that universe.
Ah, man, that'd be so sick.
Cool.
That would be cool. So sick, man. Oh, my wife is here. What's happening, baby? But on top of the X-Men showing up, I do think we're gonna take some jabs at Daredevil. I think Ben Affleck could make an appearance, be funny. They said Elektra's coming in, apparently.
Yeah, they said Jennifer Garner.
If Garner's coming back, Ben's gonna come back for a little bit of fun. And then let's see, what else can they bring in? Man, if
Fantastic Four, bro.
Yeah, I think that's the joke they got to make, right? They have to have Chris Evans come through and be like, "You look familiar," and like, "What are you talking about?" You know what I mean? Like, I think that's got to be a fun joke they just put in for a second, even if it's like a second. Like he's sitting, like he's like, I don't know, making out with some model like on the couch at the frickin' Baxter Building, and they see like them flying by, and like, what was that? You know, just for fun, or see the Thing. All that, but I do think that they're just gonna lean on that Fox world because they also have they can also play with Ang Lee Hulk. I think that could be hilarious.
Oh, with Eric Bana.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Speaking of I was thinking about this the other day. I was joking. I was talking to my friend about Old Man Logan, and they're like, "How funny would it be if they gave us the hillbilly Hulk family?" But it's but it's Ang Lee Hulk as that Hulk.
Oh man!
Like that'd be the funny, and make them all look really poorly CGI'd on purpose. Man. I think that'd be the funniest little gag.
Now you gotta have She-Hulk though.
Yeah. So you put She-Hulk in there as well. Put Eric Bana's Hulk in there, and then like one of the sons could be like other Hulk we had, Edward Norton, just for fun, just for shits. Well, we have an update on drafted.
I'm trying to the pick is in for the Colts. The Saints just picked up a tackle. I'm trying to see who.
Go to the NFL Twitter. They usually have it. They're pretty lined up nicely.
No, I'm actually looking up what 20th Century owns.
Oh, what 20th Century owns.
Yeah. But they're about to put in the pick. They got to do Fantastic Four. I think they got to do Fantastic Four.
Do you think all of them show up?
I think somebody. I think somebody has to show up. I don't see a Jessica Alba. She hated filming that.
Let me look myself.
Chris Evans would be hilarious. I could see the Thing, that actor. I could see Michael B. Jordan coming back as Human Torch.
Ooh.
He already has a good relationship with the MCU already.
Have
Miles Teller, the
Oscar
cult
Isaac
shit.
would be funny. The Comeback's
Oh
Apocalypse with him
yes.
as Moon Knight
Oh my
now.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Be like
Oscar Isaac would never
rib on him a little bit.
Yeah.
I
Great pick by the Colts, by the way.
What they get?
They got the edge rusher from UCLA. Yeah, that's a great pick for them.
Let's go. But yeah, there's so many like ridiculous little jabs they can take with this movie. I think the fact that they're name dropping Feige, they're like, I think this that article that we read before this of like saying how this could hit the billion mark. I think it can. This is in my opinion No Way Home times 11, because I think you can do so much with this.
I mean, we see it with the reception to the trailer being the most viewed trailer like ever. So like there's excitement, there's hype for all of this. And honestly, with Jackman just coming back and them like this could be the next rated R $1 billion movie, like outside of the Joker, just because of the excitement and all the possible cameos. And like I think this is going to already be hyped because it's these characters, but also after the cameos, the word of mouth is going to be even bigger, like it was for No Way Home, where they were like, yo, Tobey Maguire and like my boy Andrew Garfield is back. You got to go see it. Like, it's so good. So I think it's going to be a lot of that stuff. The only thing that's hurting it as a rated R movie is just because it's rated R. Like, it's going to be less people watching it. It's not going to be a wider audience.
Yeah,
it might be tougher.
Like 50% of your demographic is out the window right there.
Yeah, because you cater to a younger audience, usually Disney at least.
But fortunately, it's a sacrifice that kind of has to be made, because Deadpool is the merc with the mouth. He's not made for kids at all. He might look like Spider-Man, but he's not Spider-Man, you know? So I do know some people are kind of like saying, oh, you know, kind of like, you know, bummed out that it's like this, but it's like, I am happy that it is like this. Obviously, I want people to see it eventually, but like, I think it's good. You kind of have to sacrifice that for your art, because this is what we wanted for so long. When those Deadpool movies came out, oh my God, I was so excited to see a proper Colossus. I was like, oh my God, we're actually doing something good. Ryan Reynolds made this his baby, and he was like, I got to make sure this does well after how dirty it was done in X-Men Origins. And now we're here. We're in the big leagues now. We're in the MCU, and we're finally doing this. So I think this is the best call they could make. And I was like hoping, like, man, don't make this Disneyfied, man. You got to do it properly. Like, just the fact that Wolverine's dropping F-bombs got me excited. So I'm like, that's Wolverine.
It's I don't think it's. I'm about to go on a rant. It's not Disney. With it. It's not Disney. It's not Feige. It's the people who are already established. It's also let's just take these two titles. X-Men 97 and Deadpool and Wolverine. Well, they are being received so well right now, especially X-Men 97. Highest rated MCU show like ever, right? It's because they're just sticking to literally X-Men 97 is just going off of the comic books. That's all they're doing. Oh, we're going to accurately portray Cyclops. We're going to accurately portray Storm. We're going to accurately portray Cable, Bishop, all these characters, and make what was successful from the comic books and put it into the shows. That's why it's so successful. That's why people are losing their minds, because we haven't seen the X-Men like this because they weren't accurately portrayed. I don't care what anybody says. They were somewhat accurately portrayed in the original animated series, but not to this extent. Not to this extent at all. Same with Deadpool and now Wolverine. They were comically accurately portrayed and written right by people who understand the characters. It's shocking what you can do when you actually do what you're supposed to do with the characters and not input whatever you're trying to do, whether it's politically or unpolitically. It's crazy what excitement people get when you just tell a good story and do the IP well. I'm looking at you, Lucasfilm. It's crazy what you can do. And so these are the two big things right now for the MCU. And they're killing it because they're doing right by these characters. And it's not because of Feige, because the dude who was running the X-Men got fired for X-Men 97. I forgot what the dude's last name. And the guys who are writing Deadpool and Wolverine, directing and everything, even the marketing, it's all Ryan Reynolds and it's all Levy. I forgot his first name. That's it. Hugh Jackman came back because of Ryan Reynolds. It's not Disney. It's not Marvel. It's not Feige. It's because Feige's like, bro, I gotta go with what has worked and leave it alone. And he's letting them do what they've already been doing. He's letting them do what he's already been doing. All Feige's doing is just making sure it fits within the thing. Leave people alone and let the people who know these characters write these characters, direct these characters, and you're going to get a good story. We've seen it before with Favreau and Iron Man. We've seen it with Black Panther and Ryan Coogler. We've seen it with the Russo brothers and Captain America. Leave these people alone. Let them direct and tell their story and just make sure it fits in the thing.
Well said. Well said. I think that, yeah, they're finally starting to understand, I think, because look at the next kind of projects we have coming out and look at what we've seen so far. Like, again, we saw Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come back. We know. We saw that. And it was cool to see that because people got a new appreciation for those movies, especially the Andrew films, because everyone shit on those films. I don't care who you are. I don't care any of y'all are lying if you said, oh man, I was there night one. I went to the theater by myself, James, to see Amazing Spider-Man 1 by myself.
Nobody in there. Yes.
I went by myself, you know.
I remember.
And I like those movies. The 2 obviously was a mess, but it's still the best suit I've ever seen live action Spider-Man. And then you look at who else is coming back. Charlie Cox is back as Daredevil. We already see him twice as Daredevil, 3 times as Daredevil already.
Yeah.
And we have a show, and they already spilled the beans that my boy Punisher's coming back. John Barnthral, whatever.
Bro, all that goes back to my point. They tried to do their own thing with Daredevil Born Again, and when they did the testing, nobody liked it. So they scratched. They were already halfway through. They scratched it and were like, well, let's just bring back everybody. I'm like, bro, just do what already works. Stop trying to rewrite the wheel. Like, bro, it's already there.
I'm scrolling through Twitter right now and look at the image that came up right now. There's new rock stars, of course. And it says Return of the Kings. And look at this. This is exactly what we were just talking about. It's all the people that made like Marvel movies, like good Marvel movies, getting their second chance.
It had nothing to do with Disney and nothing to do with the MCU.
Like, look at these people.
Yes.
All 6 of these characters are all great versions of those characters. And look at that.
And beloved by people.
Daredevil on Netflix is still the #1 superhero show of all time, in my opinion.
In my opinion.
Live action. I mean, 97 is really
live
good.
Action,
but it's still like all these guys have, like, I mean, all the X-Men films weren't 10s, obviously, but Logan is a beautiful movie. It's a beautiful film. Even if you're not a comic book fan, it's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
And Deadpool, those first two movies were great. I just did a video reacting to the Spider-Man 2 trailer to celebrate the movie coming back into theaters. And I mentioned how when the first one came out, it was such a spectacle because the first time we saw Spider-Man live action, but I mean, they had like TV shows back then, they're really bad. Yeah. But like that was the first like proper Spider-Man we saw. Then Andrew took it to a different level, and then you have Bernthal as Punisher. All these guys have done accurate iterations of those characters that are so beloved, and they finally woke up and said, why don't we try that again? Why don't we try that again and see what happens? And maybe you'll do something good. Bro, bring back Luke Cage. Bring back these guys.
They weren't going to bring back Punisher, Bernthal. They're bringing him back now. They weren't going to bring back Foggy. They're bringing him back now. They're back. They weren't going to bring back Karen. They're going to kill her off. She's back now. Like, bro, people want to see a continuation for what they already love about the show. Like, it's not hard, man. It's not hard. And you have over 50 years of content to pull from. That's the crazy thing I still don't understand. Like, I get, hey, I'm a creative myself. I want to twist and do my own thing from time to time. Maybe I want to tell my own perspective when it comes to something that is already established. I get it. But bro, we talk about making money, man. We're trying to make money. It's at the end of the day, we're making money. Disney still hasn't recouped the $4 billion that they bought Lucasfilm for. They haven't recouped it. If you saw the Forbes article, they talked about how the first Force Awakens costed not over $250 million to make. Oh, it's double. It cost over $500 million to make. And they maybe broke even after it made over $1 billion, not including, because it doesn't include marketing and it doesn't include the other stuff. That's just to make the film. Same with Last Jedi, same with Rise of Skywalker. And we know Solo actually lost money as well. If you read the Forbes article, my mind was blown. And they were saving money by making these films in the UK. But the thing is, you weren't telling the good stories and you didn't have a plan, Lucasfilm, Disney, even though you had all the money on Green Earth. You didn't tell the good story and you didn't let people who know the IP tell the stories. You let Rian Johnson do whatever he wanted to do because he wanted to subvert expectations. And you let JJ start it off, but didn't keep him. And so, again, let the people who know the characters, who know the IP, have some control and tell the stories. And we have prime examples of it from early MCU to now with X-Men 97 and Deadpool with Wolverine. It's not hard. It's not hard. I don't understand where the disconnect comes from, man. And we're seeing, hopefully now, a resurgence in the MCU actually listening and bringing back these characters like we see with Daredevil Born Again. But it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's so simple.
It is, and
it's so simple.
Another part of it too is like I think that's their thing is like we need new young hot talent, and it's like you still got these guys that are still alive that are willing to do these movies.
You wasted Han, Leia, and Luke because they were supposed to come together for one last time before Carrie Fisher died.
They were never in the same.
You wasted it.
Never had all three of them in the same room.
Never.
You had
the last time in Star Wars we saw Luke. We saw Han, Luke, and Leia together was Return of the Jedi. That was the last time.
That's it.
In the 80s, and you had a chance to do it, and you didn't even do it. You didn't do it because you wanted to highlight the new characters, which I get. You're passing the baton, but you wasted it. You wasted Finn, and because you didn't have how do you not have a plan? This is a $4 billion acquisition, and you don't have a plan. You don't have a plan.
It's Star Wars.
You don't like, and Iger even said George Lucas gave us their thing, and we didn't want to use it. Lucas gave them the script and the story for episodes 7 through 9, and they didn't want to do it. Again, let the people who know the IP tell the stories. That's it. Lucas would have just been an advisor. He didn't need to direct. He didn't want to. Bring back Favreau. Bring back Cougar, who killed it on Wakanda Forever.
Yep.
And the weak parts of Wakanda Forever was the parts when Disney was trying to take over, with them trying to insert Ironheart. Those were the weak parts of Wakanda Forever. Everything else worked. Bring back the Russo brothers. Bring back whoever was writing Loki seasons 1 and 2. Bring them dudes back. Good Lord. Bring back the people who respect and know the IPs. That's why you had success.
I want you to know, James, while you were preaching that, I've been looping the 2003 trailer for Daredevil.
With my boy as Kingpin. Oh my god.
Yeah, oh man, he was a good Kingpin. Honestly. He was tough. I mean, obviously we're blessed right now with a great Kingpin, but
he was.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I think this film is Deadpool Wolverine is going to hopefully change the future here, because I think we could go into a good place here. Hit the restart button, and let's make some magic, man. Let's make to quote a kind of a cringy quote, but let's make Marvel great again. You know, like make Marvel great again. Make Marvel 2003 again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Marvel Jesus is on his way.
Marvel Jesus. We've been praying for this for so long. Maybe they're finally listening to the podcast. You know, maybe we're starting to get in people's heads.